In lieu of rocking some pink hair for a mermaid look, I thought what a better time to share 20 mermaid vibes eyeshadow palettes with you guys today. Hello my gorgeous ones, welcome to Aleisha Budget Beauty. My name is Aleisha. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, eyeshadow palette recommendations, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. Okay, you guys, so yes, I did this eyeshadow look today, trying to really emulate Mermaid over here. Did the hair pink, is for the eyeshadow palette that I already have a video up on, and I do have it in this 20 right here, but it was for the Davini Beauty Currency palette. If you guys have not watched that video, if you haven't checked out the brand, please do, because that eyeshadow palette is fantastic and it inspired me to be a mermaid for the day. So I thought, while I have this look going, I'm going to share these palettes with you guys. And I did one of these videos, I think it was last summer. It's when the Little Mermaid reboot came out. And I thought, ooh, that's a good time to share mermaid vibe palettes. But I have a few new ones in my collection that I think fit that mold as well. So I thought, let's just go ahead and do this video once again. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I might as well start with the Currency palette. So here it is, and really, really cute. She designed this as a fictional currency with the sirens on it. The 26th, June 26th is the launch birth date of the brand, 3 years. And then here is the color story. It is beautiful, it is fun. And actually this kind of got me thinking about what I consider to be mermaid palettes, and it changed my mind a little bit, because most of these are going to have a reoccurring theme. They're going to have teals, purples, pinks. But then I thought, well, this didn't really have a lot of purple. It does have, these two right here have some purple in them. They're on my eyes right now, just the shimmers. But I still got mermaid vibes from this. I got the sea vibes from this without having it predominantly be purple. And I just absolutely had the best time with this palette. I love it. And it is definitely one of my favorite mermaid palettes now. Next, we have from Gourmande Girls, the Nightshade palette. So when I was really looking at my palettes and thinking which ones give me mermaid, I realized that some are like dark, deep mermaid, siren, like deep sea, kind of mysterious vibes. And then others are more like bright and tropical that you'll see. This is more of that deep sea, and it actually kind of gives me some Ursula vibes here as well. She's an octopus, she's not a mermaid, but you guys get my point. I love this palette. It is one of my favorites from Gourmande Girls. And I think that the yellow may not be like mermaid necessarily, but then I also think, well, then you've got like the sun reflect on, you know, the water, and maybe like you catch a glimpse of the mermaid, you know, during the day. So yeah, I think it counts. Also by Gourmande Girls, and this has a little bit different vibes, is the Nueva Vida palette. And this is more of that tropical, under the sea. I really, when I look at this, I visualize the Little Mermaid and like the scene where she swirls and is singing, and you've got like the starfish and all of the, you know, beautiful tropical fish all around her. That is what I think of when I look at this palette. This is another one of my favorites by Gourmande Girls. Really, really beautiful, really, really fun. This is that like under the sea kind of like your aquarium and your black lights and things kind of turn neon. That's what I see with this one. Then we have from Nomad the Cloud Forest palette, the Monteverde palette. And I went back and forth on this. I was like, is this really mermaid? Like, and you know, I started to think about the Currency palette and how it's kind of more predominantly green. And I thought, well, yeah, I think that it works. All you really need is, you know, your purple and, you know, a pink. And then also you've got more of that teal sort of blue in here as well that you think of mermaid. And then you have your greens. So I think of like, you know, like the seaweed and the vegetation that's on the floor of the ocean, the greenery, and then you've got like your tropical pops in here, and then the mermaid is the purple and the pink. So I think this one squeaks by. Then we have the Lunar Beauty. This is the Siren Sunset palette. So this one's a little bit obvious, but this color story is different. This is more of that deep, dark sea, luring you into the depths, that mysterious mermaid type of look. So actually, I almost put this in my video where I had neutrals with pops of color. And I had to cut it off somewhere, you know. I was like, I want to be able to show other palettes for other topics. So I saved this one for this video, but this could have worked for that as well. Even though these aren't real colorful, there are some duo multi-chromes in here that bring more color than meets the eye at first. But I really, really like this. I love the mix of the neutrals and then these like kind of deep, dark-based multi-chromes in here. I think it is a really, really fun palette. This one's more of like a blurple shimmer, and then this is the most shifty of them. So yeah, this is that like deep, dark Siren type of palette. Next from Moira, we have the Magic Dreaming palette. This is from the Moreland series that came out that I still think is just their best they've ever done. The Fun is in the Air palette I share all the time in my rankings. You guys probably are sick of me showing that palette, but this one is just that cool toned mermaidy vibe here with your cool toned purples, kind of mauves, blues. This is that like the sun is setting and everything's just starting to get a little bit dark under the water, but you can still see some colors. That's what I get out of this palette. Then I think this one works. This is the Hauntingly Glamorous, and this is the old packaging that was Alien Cosmetics. Now it is Unearthly, and I love this color story. So this definitely would pop up in one of my spooky season palette videos, so you definitely see this again. But I think that this really works for Mermaid as well. I kind of see Ariel again when I look at this because you have the red for her hair, you have the purples, you have the greens. This is such a fun palette that I think they haven't really done as many color stories that I like as much as this. It's kind of one reason why I haven't really gotten that much into Unearthly when they changed over, because I still just love this color story so much that I'm waiting for something to grab my attention like this again. Really, really fun. It could definitely be summer deep mermaid, or it could also be spooky season palette. Okay, next we have from Beauty Bay. This is the Age of Opulence. And this again is more of that dark mermaid with your deep dark purples or deep dark teals. You even have some deep blues in here, and then you do have neutrals as well. So maybe just like the sand element you could tie into it with your mermaid look. This is such a good palette that when I first got it, I thought I hated it because I hadn't really figured out how to work their formula yet. Now that I know it, I know packing method works really well. Going deep to lighter works. Packing method is definitely the way to go with this formula. Now I love it, and I think this color story is really fun. Then we have what I can kind of see how Mermaid can go summer, and Mermaid can also have palettes that I feel like go into winter as well. And you'll see what I mean by the Wonderland palette from Cosmic Brushes. So this is obviously a winter palette, or marketed as a winter palette, but I also definitely see Mermaid here because you've got teals, blues, purples, you got fun multi-chromes in here. Definitely like your cool toned mermaid vibe with this one. Then from Oden's Eye, we have the Giant Wolves palette. And this again is your cool tone mermaid. It's funny because you've seen some in here that are more like that tropical bright, like Nueva Vida, you know, like the Monteverde palette has those pops of color, but then I think it's like your mermaid on the surface, and then your mermaid lurking down below is your cool tones. So I think this one works. Then we have from Menagerie, this is the Indigo Ink palette. And this is another one that I see that if it had purple in here, I would also think Ariel in that scene of dancing in the ocean with all of her ocean friends. But I love this color story. I brought this up in a recent video and it said, like, gosh, like this is one I need to use a lot more. I like the combo and the contrast of the cool and the warm tones. It was in that video, my cool warm tone eyeshadow palette video. But yeah, I still see Mermaid here, just minus the purple. And then we have from Nomad, the New Zealand Stargazing palette. I was like going back and forth and between this one and Monteverde, and then I decided to just include both and show how two totally different color stories can still go Mermaid. It's just different vibes. This is that, you know, deeper mermaid. Like I think this would look so pretty with like the hair and the shirt I have on right now could be mermaid vibes, but then the Monteverde is like the bright, cheerful mermaid. It's like it's the split personality mermaid, okay? Bright, cheerful, and the I will lure you to your death mermaid. Next, by Lethal Cosmetics, we have the After Dark palette. And this is one I never really see anyone talk about, and I have not used this palette enough in my own collection. I think I've only used this once or twice, and I don't know why, because this color story is really, really pretty. You have a mix of kind of like these cool tones in here, sort of smoky looking, and then kind of almost like neon bright, but it's kind of muted. And I could see some mermaid vibes with this as well. I mean, you've got purple, pink, teal, and then the green. I think this definitely works. And this is a palette I need to use more for sure. The Afrogalactic palette, I kind of stretched it a tiny bit with this because I think this is kind of half and half. Like I do see this part is mermaidy to me, maybe not this right here, this like 8-pan section. But if you take that out, then I think this down here could be oceany, mermaidy, and then like even like Ariel hair looking like with the red and orange combined. So I think that it works. I definitely see mermaid with this palette, the Barbie palette by Glamlite. Actually, let me go ahead and just show this other one while I'm at it. The Lunar palette, which is supposed to be mermaid-like from Blend Bunny. They've always given me sort of similar vibes, just a little bit different in tone. And then of course with the Barbie palette, you have just the couple addition of the yellowy golds, but otherwise I've always kind of thought these go really well together. They're not dupes of each other at all, you can tell that, but I think that the gradient, like the deeper tones, like you get into these kind of deep dark sea here, and then here's like your mermaidy, oceany, and then you have some in here as well. But I think that these would pair really, really beautifully together. Both definitely mermaid vibes. A newer one by Adept is the Cyborg Choir palette. And I think that this one does work. You do have this purple here, and then this is like your midnight blue. So like if you want like your dark mermaid vibes, and then of course you got all your incredibly shifty shades here that kind of look like they could be reflects of sun and like fish scales, and how in one light it looks one way and another in another light. I definitely think this one works. Then by Simply Posh, we have the Aura Lights palette. And I 100% see it with this palette with your greens, your teals, your purple pinks. This is definitely one of my favorites by them. This one and the Coastal palette, those are my two favorites. Then we have an LA Girl palette. This is the Main Stage Desert Dream palette. I don't really see desert with this. I don't really know why this is called Desert Dream. Like this should be some sort of, it should be like the Mermaid palette, because that's just what I see here. But I like that you have these rows. It looks, it's not really picking up the true light here. Like these are more purpley mauve. They look a little bit dusty because it's getting a little bit dark, but they're definitely more purpley mauve, and then your teal, blue, green. And this is another one I need to use. I always say when I do these videos, it convicts me and reminds me, don't buy so many palettes because you're showing off these palettes and they look brand new. So it convicts me to use it. The last one that I get some mermaid vibes from, this one kind of makes me think of Ariel as well, is the Blooming Basket palette by Dede Signature. I love this palette. Very, very amazing quality with this one. And it's maybe not a real obvious mermaid, but I just, again, I see Ariel. I think anytime I see like purple, green, and red, I'm going to think of Ariel, and you do have that in this palette, and you have an outstanding formula as well. But that is it, you guys. Those are my 20 Mermaid Vibes palettes. You guys will have to let me know what one in your collection gives you the most mermaid feel. Also, let me know if you might be interested in picking up any of these now that you've seen them. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping. Bye!